Cuando nacemos ya traemos nuestra muerte escondida en el hígado o en el estómago o acá en el corazón que algún día va a pararse.
Una historia termina y otra empieza. Cuando acabe el correr de las acciones del hombre es porque empieza el juicio de lo que irá a pesar más. Ya no corras, Macario. ¿Para qué?
La vida no fue fácil, Macario. Pero fue buena vivirla juntos.
What is death to you? That's a question not a girl likes to think about. For me, death was always an eerie but wonderful concept. That was in part because of the culture I was raised in. The Mexican sentiment towards death is generally one that finds a purpose and structure, be it through traditional altars or ofrendas, by which people feel connected to their relatives, or the many smaller trinkets of the holiday, which make it much more vivid and iconic for everyone. As a way, death is showcased as something so normal and simple as it is complex and terrifying. One of my favorite films explores this side of the Mexican tradition, the awarded classic Macario, a movie that explores the purest of desires one can find in this simple world, holding tight to what was iconic of dramatic cinema, while at the same time staying true to roots of Mexican fables of magic realism and parallelisms. A story with so much purpose that you could make up and find your own message in it countless times. This movie came by the directing hand of Roberto Gabaldon and the writing hand of Emilio Carballino, which adapts an even older book by the same name, written by Bruno Traven. The film was a normal massive success, reaching new heights for Mexican cinema, receiving a nominee for Best Foreign Film, awards for its actors, and recognition through various festivals and ceremonies. The film itself represented a monumental milestone for the Mexican film industry, which showed that Mexican talent could compete with foreign works, competing at the highest levels with respected offerings like Capo from Italy or The Virgin Springs from Sweden. Despite its renowned fame, however, the movie suffered its harshest criticisms in its home country, where the movie was accused of failing to depict the vivid life of Mexican traditions. First, the movie was recorded in black and white, even though at that time Mexico was a major cradle for color in cinema and television. Second, the movie was labeled a grim, dramatic fable, and seen with foul eyes for being the wrong representation of the Day of the Dead that the world would see. We know that this did not stop it from becoming a staple, but what's left is to ask what it's actually about. The story of Macario is the story of an indigenous woodcutter who lives tormented by need and hunger. Macario, played by Ignacio Lopez Tarso, is constantly reminded of the decaying life of his family and how he is unable to change it in any way. A man that one day on the eve of Day of the Dead stumbles upon a roasted chicken while feeling haunted by the thought of death and his decaying life. At this point, a desire is born within Macario to eat a whole roasted chicken by himself without sharing it with his wife or children. He expresses his desire to his wife, who is played by Pina Pellicer, and declares that he will not eat anything until he can accomplish his goal. Something that his wife takes to her own hands, stealing a chicken and preparing as a gift of understanding and love. When Macario sets off into the forest to enjoy his treat, he is interrupted by three unexpected individuals. First, Macario meets the devil, who appears in front and close to him, played by Jose Galvez, and dressed as a galleon charro. The devil offers him the forest, metals, and gold in exchange for a piece of the chicken, which Macario declined, explaining that the devil owns nothing and that he would rather share with his family than him. Next, Macario meets God, played by Jose Luis Jimenez, and who stands in a white mist at the distance behind Macario, asking him to share his treat. Macario remarks that God owns all things that exist and that the only interest there could be was to see Macario's goodwill. In tears, Macario declines God's request before regretting and turning back to find an empty forest, now unable to take his words back. Finally, Macario meets Death, played by Enrique Lucero, to whom he shares perfect half of the chicken, in belief that would give him enough time to eat before his death. Once done feasting, however, Death regards Macario as a friend and prepares him a gift, giving him a vase of water which would heal any sick person. Death emphasizes to Macario a single rule, that if he sees Death stand on the bed of the sick person, that person may be saved. But if Death stands at the head of the person, that person will die. Macario pays not enough attention, and soon turns his miracle gift into a business as a miracle doctor of sorts, changing his life completely in as fast as a single day with countless wealth granted to him and his family. All until the Grand Inquisition hears of Macario's doing and arrests him under the charge of witchcraft and Satanism, leaving Macario frightened for what time, life, and even death may have prepared for him.
¿Por qué me traicionaste?
Nunca te he traicionado, y ahora más que nunca estoy contigo.
The story of Macario is grim and heavy, touching topics of imbalance and abuse in society and within every individual. It utilizes the festivity in a way that is uncommon in most modern media, but that is directly correlated to it, portraying the ways in which one stumbles and bounces about life's path. The film was made and released the same year, 1960, as it took 5 weeks of production, and even then, every scenic moment holds a certain timeless beauty that makes it an entertaining and intriguing spectacle even by modern standards. Because it's not simply the story of a greedy man who loses everything because of his actions. Macario is not depicted as a bad man. He's depicted as a humble worker, a humble indigenous who is trapped in a certain situation of life. A man that, when given the chance, his first action is to share that wealth with his own family. The story follows on as Macario spirals down his actions and inevitably faces the consequences, dancing about in the great line that will make the audience accept his actions and perhaps excuse his means. The movie can be seen through critical eyes and found countless messages or ideas, be it criticism to the ways of society, the unfairness of the world, or something completely opposite. And that, for me, is what makes it a true masterpiece, that it is not encaved in a certain view. It's a story that feels so real and yet so fictional that you can apply it to your own situation, regardless of who you are. Macario teaches us that actions have weight, be it ours or not, and that we must be mindful of them at all moments, because it is what makes us. Our decisions make up who we are. Life can give us anything and take away from us anything, but the biggest change that one can make is the biggest change that there will be in one's life. And I wish to invite you to enjoy this visual piece, but also take a little bit from it, to put yourself in the shoes of Macario and decide, what is death to you? What will matter more? And what should you do to ensure it?
Porque no hay quien no se apure y quieren ganar lugares pa' que Macario los cure, pa' que Macario los cure.